Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1Mby1M Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. 1Mby1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator for technology startups. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. In support of the mission, we do a lot of work in the media. We run our own blog. We syndicate content to a variety of different media partners. We have these roundtables happen every week after week after week. And this is the 567th session. And today is going to be a shorter session. Normally we have a guest, and with 50 guests a year, roughly, we do have 1 or 2 cancellations here and there, last-minute cancellations. So we did have one of those this week. So we do not have a guest. We'll just have a pitch or 2, and then that's it for today. The event is being recorded. You have recordings of every single session available on the Roundtable channel on YouTube. And on Twitter, we are at 1Mby1M and at Romana. These are the call-in instructions. We're not ready for calling yet. And we are, however, ready for the Entrepreneur Pitch session. Just quickly, we are on your side. This is a safe working session. We have no other agenda but to help you succeed. So be aware of that. You are very welcome to disagree with me. This is your company. So I am just going to give you feedback. What you do with it is up to you. So Dr. Justin Lancaster from Lyme, New Hampshire is our first pitch. Justin, please get going.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shramana, and thank you for having me here. For very immediate correction, I'm not in Lyme, New Hampshire, nor have I ever been from Lyme, New Hampshire. I don't know how that popped up there, but that's fun. I'm actually in Barnard, Vermont. But thank you for adding, at least adding my name to the first slide. That's a good idea. I'm a longtime serial entrepreneur. I've started a software company and a nonprofit company in the 80s and the 90s. In the 1990s, GeoSoftware developed a forerunner for Google Earth. But we were way too early with that technology. And for the last, more than a dozen years, I've been incubating and bootstrapping a new idea that builds off some of that real world simulation we did in the 1990s, but for biomedical research. So we're seeking a 500,000 pre-seed round for KwiKBio. Next slide, please. What is KwiKBio? We're intending to accelerate the pace of biomedical research. We want to recruit a crowd of citizen scientists and give them advanced access to knowledge assemblies and to the most advanced artificial intelligence tools. We have exclusive rights to 4 US patents, one just awarded earlier this month. As I mentioned, we're a Vermont-based startup. We're owned by our co-founders, no prior outside investment. Next slide, please. So this is our team. Greg Irman might be known to some of you who've been around Boston in biomedical. He's been with me since 2011. He's really board level. I gave a little of my background. I've worked in a number of biomedical startups as well, particularly in bioinformatics. Althoff is a programmer in Toronto. Evan Stieg, I was his VP of Business Development 20 years ago when he brought the first artificial intelligence-driven bioinformatics to pharma, and I worked to sell that or to get frustrated in the way pharma buys bioinformatics in those early years. And for a number of other bioinformatics startups over the next decade, I saw some real problems in the way technology sold to pharma, and KwiKBio is one of the solutions for that. My brother Richard is our CTO, has 45 solid years of computing experience, very strong in databases and in software development. Next slide, please. So the painful problem is that biomedical science is slow. We've put a man on the moon, we have a space station, we've visited Mars, but we still can't figure out this cubic meter of protoplasm that is the human being. And it's not because it's an impossible thing to figure out. It's because we have an entire industry that grew out of the chemical industry that is very proprietary. They don't work together, they don't collaborate, they don't open themselves up to the public. So 99.97% of humans have no access to biomedical knowledge directly or to help the pace of research. So professional research is slow because labs don't share with each other. They don't share negative results. They conduct redundant experiments. They're very slow to form new valuable hypotheses, and tremendous delays in contracting with third-party research organizations. I have experience with this as one of the contract research organizations in bioinformatics, watching a project just sit there for 9 months while lawyers on both sides played essentially, I would say, competitive lawyer games, going over contracts that could have been resolved in probably 2 days with a contracting on the fly technology that we're bringing forward, in fact. Next slide, please. So quite simply, our mission is to empower citizen scientists, professional scientists, and students to accelerate biomedical research through an adaptive e-learning gateway. Next slide, please. We want a crowd of citizen scientists to use AI in a very, very efficient way to essentially fill in the unknowns in biomedical research. So by bringing the unknowns right to the fore, we have automated hypothesis generation and then a rapid way to test these hypotheses with experiments. Next slide. So what's our solution? It's an adaptive e-learning gateway, and it's smart in the sense that we monitor the progress and we report the progress as we go along. It's fully open to the public. The entire database and knowledge assembly that's generated is completely open to the public for free. The product that we sell are the advanced analysis and hypothesis generation tools that are built on top. So we generate these valuable hypotheses essentially to reduce uncertainty in the knowledge assembly. Next slide, please. So what's our addressable market? Our competitors right now, and in a sense, they're competing on only half of our solution, which is the e-marketplace for contract research organization services for biomedical research, pharmaceutical and biotech, and some government. So those competitors are scientist.com and scienceexchange.org. So they're essentially going after 80,000 pharmaceutical and biotech scientists. There are another million or so professional bioscientists in government and academia. Then another 9 million doctors and nurses and others in the medical profession. We're setting our sights on this beachhead market of 60 million citizen scientists and gifted homeschool video gamers, a very, very niche market where we are up against essentially other video games, very advanced video games, but video games where there is nothing in that market that is useful and valuable for education. So I'll explain a little bit more as we go along, but this direction takes us into a very massive, over 2 billion video gamers, as well as hundreds of millions of homeschoolers. So we're trying to bring forward first what our consumer wants and what we do best, as opposed to trying to compete where our competitors are strong at the moment. But we've spoken with our lead competitor and are planning a partnership as soon as we bring forward our module. Next. So we're looking to engage the user with knowledge objects, with a knowledge assembly, to generate testable hypotheses, to then test these hypotheses and then bring that knowledge back into a public knowledge assembly. You can think of it a bit like Wikipedia on steroids, where we have in the middle of the Wikipedia page a complete immersive, collaborative, gamified biomedical research effort for people to come together around particular diseases. So we're using unique and advanced visualization and immersive collaboration. Next. So we're bringing multiple technologies together, things that you recognize: artificial intelligence and machine learning, virtual reality, 3D visualization, and video gaming. We're bringing together Web 3.0, the resource description framework, the semantic web, and graph-based technologies. We're going towards citizen science, which is a massive untapped pool of passion in the public domain. And we're bringing something called automated research, which is what our patents are built around. So our concepts are to be interactive, highly engaging, and to bring the user to a very valuable area of contribution to something they care about. Next. So our development just in the last 2 years is professionally oriented. We use GitHub and Jira, multiple Slack channels for the team, and we've been exploring various developments on the web already. Next slide, please. So our business model is a freemium subscriber business model. Think Match.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, but with much more value being brought to the community as we all work together to solve diseases. These are very conservative software as a service metrics here. Next slide, please. How do we use our pre-seed funds? We go right out immediately to bring in 5 new team members, 1 in user design interface, a product manager to coordinate the new people and to work with our R&D leader on our team, and at least 3 coders to work in Angular, work in Python and AI, and to work in C# with the Unity game engine. Very small amount of the funds for additional management, part-time CFO, and operations.
So
Next
Justin,
slide. That's it, I think.
Do you have appetite for candid feedback?
Ready? Yes.
This is not a fundable pitch by any stretch of imagination.
Well, that's why I'm here, is to get feedback.
So first and foremost, I listened to your pitch for the last 12 minutes or maybe 10 minutes, and I don't understand what you do. And that's a very bad sign, right? Because I'm a fairly experienced, rather intelligent person who does this on a daily basis. So if I have not understood what you do within 3 to 5 minutes of your pitch, you have no chance. So first and foremost, my recommendation to you is you're going to have to figure out how to tell your story better. And to do that, you're going to need to learn the pieces of what constitutes a good pitch. Now, of course, you're telling me that you've done this before, you have lots of experience, there's a lot of experience on your team. So given all that, I don't know how you come up with this pitch, but this pitch doesn't work.
Good.
I don't understand who's the customer. You're telling me you're going to get 1 million subscribers to something, but who are these 1 million subscribers? What is the profile of these subscribers? Why would they pay for it? You know, you're talking about citizen scientists, but I mean, who are you selling to? Is this like a B2C product, B2B product? I don't understand any of it. And that's very bad. 12 minutes or 10 minutes into the pitch, if I don't understand these basics, that's a very bad pitch. That's number one.
I agree with that then. That's good feedback.
Number two is people don't fund pre-seed MVPs. You have to put together something that works and has some traction, et cetera, unless you are, you know, so I was talking to the founder of Nutanix recently. Nutanix was one of the fastest growing companies in the history of the software industry, technology industry. They do software and hardware. And this guy is doing a second company, and he doesn't need pre-seed funding because he's, you know, worth many hundred millions, if not billions. But this is the kind of guy who can raise pre-seed funding if he wants to. But by and large, pre-seed funding is really difficult. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But for pre-seed funding to happen, your pitch is so compelling that people are dying to get in on this. And your pitch is not that. So therefore, for you, for all practical purposes, you should assume that you cannot raise pre-seed funding. You're going to need to figure out how to put one foot before the other. I'm happy to help you do that. That's what we do in 1 million by 1 million. I will explain a little bit later after I finish working with the other people here.
Very good.
And how to do 1 million by 1 million. But there's a tremendous amount of work that you need to do to tell your story in a way that an investor can understand what are they funding. I don't understand what I'm funding here if I'm funding this thing. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Bixpand is the next company. Is Sudipta Das here? Maureen, what's happening? Go to the next slide. Vijay is here. Okay, Vijay is here. Vijay is going to pitch. All right, Vijay, please go ahead. Vijay's line is not on. Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes. Okay. So Sudipta Das is here as well. He's my partner. If we can allow him to present, that would be great. Like he's presenting today.
Okay, Maureen will work with Sudipta to make sure that he is able to also talk, but go ahead and start your pitch.
Sure, Umi, I can start, no problem. Yeah. So we are like a Bixpand.com, right? So the word says Bixpand, that is a business expand. And the goal for is that how we can accelerate the small and medium scale businesses in their activities for the sales and the marketing. Yeah. Sudipta, you are here. Do you want to go with that? Or should he join? Okay, so this platform, yeah, okay, yeah. So this platform is specifically for the small and medium scale businesses in helping them to get the leads, marketing, sales, CRM activities, and ultimately the reputation. The thought process is that from the sales activity from the zero, like when you get a prospect and you convert into the customer, the entire journey we try to cover over here in the Bixpand.com. Yeah, just go to the next slide. Right. So why the Bixpand.com? So that the most that have mentioned about, that is the most affordable solution that we have given over here, right? So that is a simple to use.
Yeah, sorry, Vijay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. If you
can
want to
hear
go
you.
ahead, please take care.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Can you move further?
Yeah, I can take over, Vijay, from you now.
Sure, great. Yep.
Yeah, hi Samara, hi Maureen, hi everyone. Sorry, I had this audio glitch. So yeah, so as Vijay was mentioning, so the product is named Bixpand.com. So we are live. We actually have even customers. So to take on further, so as Vijay mentioned, like the name, I'll just take a few more seconds to explain on the name. So the product is named Bixpand. So it's derived from the words business and expand. So the combination of both is Bixpand. So that's how the name comes from. So Bixpand is essentially a product where we are trying to help small and medium businesses, like as mentioned over here, the ideal customers, small and medium businesses with their sales and marketing operations. So any business, small and medium, who is having a revenue of
half a million to less than 5 million.
Yeah, less than 5 million, and who are having employees like starting from 2 to 50, wherein they have a sales and marketing team where they need collaboration within that team to accelerate their sales. That's where the product comes into the place. I mean, the product is placed. And right now we are targeting USA and India, where we have a presence in terms of our support and as well as our sales and marketing team. But the product is designed such that it can be used anywhere else, wherever there's an English-speaking population or people are used to using English. Now, these are the target industries where our product directly fits in without any customization. So pretty much their sales and operations in this organizations, they can directly use our product as is with just setups and configurations. So that is why, like as mentioned here, like 1 to 5, these are the target industries that we're targeting, and then these are the ones where the product fits in, but it might need some customizations based on the sales and marketing needs for those teams. And these are the ones which are basically we have to work more, like we have to customize it further in order to cater to those requirements for sales and marketing. As far as our competitors go, so these are the competitors that we are trying to work with or rather work against. And as mentioned below, like how do we plan to cater them? So we want to be the most comprehensive, the most simple, and the most affordable when we want to compare with them. And where we are right now, we are almost 70% to that, standing on the ground at 70% to that goal that we are trying to achieve within the next 1 year, and for which we are trying to seek investment to move further. So regarding marketing activities, the ones which are right now ongoing, these are the ones which we are doing right now, and we want to do further. But right now we do not have that manpower or that strength which we get when we get the investment. And then this is in a nutshell what all things which are covered in the product right now, as far as the features goes and the offerings, product offering goes. The ones in blue are the one that we provide through software, and the ones in green are the one we augment with services, professional services, which we intend to take further as we get more investment. Offering
Can
models.
you go back 1 second? Can you go back to this slide? You're naming HubSpot, Zoho, MailChimp, so on, Constant Contact as competitors. What do you do better than them that gives you the right to seek investments in this space?
So, sure. So, so right now, like whatever features that they are offering, like for example, MailChimp, they are the champions in email marketing. If you take Zoho and HubSpot, they are the champions in CRM, as well as the peripherals around it, like getting the leads connected from, getting your email integration done within the CRM, then getting getting task automated, getting your contacts seamlessly integrated with your CRM. So we have included everything together. Like if you see Calendly, you get all the contacts. As you do the meetings and everything, you get all the contacts. You get more information from the contacts inside the CRM automatically. So we have got all those features covered inside our software.
This is not how to compete with big players like this. I'm sorry that this pitch also does not work at all, because this is an incredibly competitive market, incredibly mature market. So unless you have something spectacular, just because you have all the features that they have, doesn't give you the right to be in this market. You're not going to succeed as a business.
Yeah. So another thing that
do you have customers? This is not a fundable situation at all. Do you have customers?
Yeah, we have customers.
And why do you have these customers? Explain to me why these customers are choosing you.
Okay, so the primary reason why customers are choosing us, firstly, we are a complete product. So once you log into the product, unlike HubSpot or any other software, wherein there is restriction in terms of like features or in terms of like number of days of trial, or even like getting the configurations done. So they have like much more setup to be done. They are like limited number of trial periods, like wherein if you do not use the feature, then you end up losing the trial period, and then not getting accustomed to the feature, as well as the simplest.
There is a reason why there is a trial period, because people want you to pay. So
yes.
Are you calling free users customers?
No. So what we are calling is the product is free in terms of like using the product. There's no trial period, so it's forever free. The only way where we are asking them to pay is whenever they are using the product, they are making value out of it. And if they make value out of it, they are engaging the customers. So the three ways they can engage the customer is email, text, and calls. Calling the people. So we only charge the platform. You have to pay the platform only when you are actually using more emails, more calls, or more text. So we give certain amount of free emails, free text, and free calls. So if you go beyond that, that is the place where you need to purchase something from the platform. Other than that, if you use the platform,
No,
configure the
but
platform
Zoho
as
gives
is.
5 users free. So the entire Zoho system is free for 5 users.
No, but there is a trial period, right? Wherein after that they restrict the features. We don't restrict the features. So it's free for all the features right now and all the upcoming
But you
features
can't
in the
build a
coming
business
days.
like that. You can't build a business like that. Building premium businesses is really, really hard because the conversion rates are very low. And you're going to end up giving everything for free for a long time before you get to charge anything. And those make terrible businesses. So there's no chance anybody will invest in your company if you're generally a free business and you have some fantasy about premium, but you haven't really figured out the freemium path. There's no chance that you're going to be able to build a business. So
Yes.
again, Sudipta, you have
Yeah.
a lot to learn about how to build a business.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no chance you will be able to raise any money. On what you have presented here today, there is absolutely no chance you'll be able to raise money. So I suggest you start learning about how to build a business. And I will talk about how to do that in a moment.
Sure.
Okay?
So I'll just take 30 seconds, like why we chose this kind of model. So if you take Zoho, so they charge around $35 per user. And then if suppose if you take a scenario of say 5 users, so they charge 5 into 35. And then that's how you do the subscription every month. If you use Bixpand instead of Zoho, so what you do is like you don't have to pay the $35 every user. You just pay $5 after the first user, and beyond that, like once you are using a Bixpand, then if you need to engage, like if you need to use the appointment system, or if you need to use task management system, or if you need to use email marketing, or if you need to use any other kind of feature, if you do not use emails, then these features are half used. I mean, you can get the appointments, but if you do not get the reminders, your users do not get the reminders. I mean, you can still do the meetings, but then it is not effective. It's half.
Here's my read. I know Zoho inside out from the very beginning because I was the first person who wrote about Zoho on Forbes, and that's how the world found out about Zoho. So Zoho in the beginning followed that strategy. They were charging very little. They were giving for free a lot, and they were charging very little. Over the years, they have raised their prices. And in the beginning, their competitive positioning was that Salesforce.com was at that price point, that higher price point, and they were at a lower price point. Now, Salesforce.com is a much higher price point. Zoho has increased its pricing, and there is probably, and I haven't researched that, but you seem to think that there is a gap in the lower end of the pricing market. But I think your assumption that everything is going to be free until people start getting value and all that, these things, you can't really build a business like that. You can charge small, so the pricing can be such that you are 5 times cheaper than Zoho or 10 times cheaper than Zoho. But the model, their model is the right model to build a business. Your model is not the right model to build a business. You can compete on price. So what I suggest you do is really understand deeply the competitive landscape that you're trying to play in. What are the pricings of the players? And is there an opportunity to go in at a very low price point and play this game at the lowest end of the market, which is where Zoho started. That is how Zoho became a big business. But Zoho did that not by actively looking for investment. You don't have anything right now to look for investment. You have to get traction, build traction. You have to create a compelling case that, yes, you can do this, you can deliver this. You will need business models that work, that validate and so forth before you can raise money for this. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We also had Freshworks incubated in our program, so we know that model very well as well. They also did the same thing in the customer service market. They went low. They started low. They have raised prices since. They have gone after enterprises and so on and so forth, but they did the same thing. I know this strategy, I know inside out. We've used it many, many, many times in the program.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to spend some more time explaining to you how to use 1 million by 1 million. I just want to check somebody I saw is Who was here? Jochan is a new member, right? Jochan, you're from Belgium and you just signed up for the premium program? I think I recognize the name. I would love to chat with Jochan a little bit. So let me finish this segment and then I would like to talk to you. All right, so folks, as you can see, I'm giving you very direct feedback. It is not helpful for me to give you a pat on the back and send you out there and you get a lot of rejections from investors. That is not how you're going to make progress. I need to give you candid feedback and help you, put one foot before the other so that you can find a way to be successful. That is what the 1 million by 1 million program is about. We don't give pats in the back. We will give you a pat in the back. If you do a good job, we'll give you a pat in the back. But the reality is you're going to have to use our methodology and our resources to learn. And we have done a tremendous amount of work to put resources together such that you can start learning. So let me point you to those resources. You can learn a lot by just following the blog. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just time. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series is a reasonable place to start your learning. These roundtables happen every week. 1M1M Premium is our full acceleration program. In it, you get access to our full methodology. You get regular guidance on a week-by-week basis. You can come and talk to me in similar sessions like this, but for premium members only, where you can actually get your feedback on your project. And you're going to have to really invest time in learning the 1M1M curriculum. And in the curriculum, we teach you all of these pieces, how to pitch, how to position, how to strategize, all these things that we're talking about, pricing strategy, what is the pricing strategy, what is the competitive positioning, all of these things that we're talking about are covered in the curriculum, and we need you to really master the curriculum and use that and apply that on your venture to be able to move put one foot before the other. As you get ready, we have a tremendous network that we open for you if you're part of the premium program. That includes business development, that includes strategy consulting, that includes potential customer introductions, channel partner introductions, and of course, investor introductions. However, before you get to that, there's a lot of work that we need you to do. Financing, we have very specific guidance on how to raise money and what gets financed and so forth. And then we also have a lot of clout in the media, so we can help you get the word out there. I suggest you go to the self-assessment on the 1M1M website and try to answer these questions. These are the due diligence questions that BCs are going to ask you. The Bootstrapping course, this is a free course that is available on the blog. It's pinned to the top of the blog. You can start. It's just less than 1 hour long. And I would like you to take a look at that and please understand the philosophy of 1 million by 1 million using that. We have also released a lot of our curriculum material on Udemy. So it's a reasonable starting point. What we have not released on Udemy are the core material of validation, validation, positioning, customer acquisition, these kinds of stuff. The bootstrapping material, some of the financing material are available on Udemy. So you can look at that and use that as your starting point for studying. Whatever you choose is fine. 1M1M Basic gives you access to our entire curriculum. And that may be the best place for both Justin and Vijay, Sudipta, this team, to start your studying process, because you have quite a lot of just pure methodology mastering to handle. Anyways, go look at the website, dig around. what to expect from premium, what to expect from basic. This is where you get a lot of the information about how to use the 1Mby1M program. There's a lot of videos, FAQs, video FAQs, a full description of the curriculum. The curriculum is case study based. Zoho is a case study because, we've worked with Sridhar Vembu very early on. We have thousands of entrepreneurs who have shared their case studies, and you can learn from these thousands of entrepreneurs, not just from me and not just from the 1Mby1M team. You get to learn from the who's who of the tech industry. We have 100+ unicorns, many hundred bootstrap companies, many hundred venture-funded companies. So everything we teach you is backed up by case studies. We have very specific policies on investor introductions. We work with hundreds of investors. We have more than 500 investors whom we work with. But I need you to be ready. I need you to be fundable before we can send you to those investors. And there's a lot of work that goes on in our program in getting entrepreneurs ready for financing. We do get a lot of financing done as well. So our mantra is do not go to investors as beggars, go as kings, which means that you're going to have to bootstrap first and raise money later and get some proof points. And mostly pre-seed happens very rarely and in very specific circumstances. So pre-seed funding, when you have nothing, really concept financing happens very little. That's it. We have roundtables every week in April, so you're very welcome to reserve your spots to come and talk to me. And then I would like to get to Q&A now and have more conversations with whoever amongst you would like to speak. I would like to speak first with Jochan, who's a premium member, and I'd like to give him some pointers first and foremost. But this is the call-in instruction, and your audio from the computer will also work. After this program, if you are looking for more input, if you have more questions about the 1Mby1M program, you can talk to Irina Patterson. She will talk to you by phone, WhatsApp, Skype, whatever, and answer those questions. So this is Harmesh Singh and his testimonial. He helped him raise funding, and it was, as he says, it was the best $1,000 spent for him. So please dial in or use the computer audio. Jochan, could you unmute your line, please?
Yes, now you should hear me. Hello.
I can hear you fine. Yes, perfect.
I'm in the car, so I hope the connection is good.
I can hear you. So you are in the premium program now, so you have access to all the resources. The thing that what both Dominic and I told you at the session where you pitched us last week was that you are pitching your business as a horizontal materials business. And we get very little insight into the applications. What are the killer apps of these materials? What can you do with these materials? What kind of product can we build with these materials that really takes a product category or a particular product into a zone where it cannot go to without that material? So that is, if you start going through the 1Mby1M curriculum, you will see there's a module on value proposition, there's a module on validation. You should start looking at those, and I would like to see where do we need to go with this company in terms of who are the customers for these materials? What product category, what kind of customers do we need to validate this with? So there is going to be a roundtable, a private roundtable next Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. If you could book a slot with Maureen, and before you come to that, if you can come up with some of your use cases and killer apps of this material, I'd like to start our discussion next week there. Okay.
Very good. Yeah, we have, thanks. Yeah, we have many use cases, and the challenge is more to find out where the value of our material is especially large, as you put it, where we have the unique point, where we do not have to compete
Unique point,
against
exactly.
price with other materials, because there's, for many applications, for each of the applications, there are always many different materials to use. And
Right.
we have a little bit the challenge to find the focus, the market where we can really add more value.
But do you have hypothesis on what kinds of applications, what kind of products you could really make a difference in?
Yes, we have the more low-cost market. Our basic technology can be used from packaging to aerospace, so it's a very broad market depending on the polymer we
But that's
use.
the problem with your venture, Jochan. That is the problem with your venture.
Yes.
That kind of broadness
Indeed.
is not going to get you to anything. You're going to need to come up with specific markets that you want to go after, where you have really, really significant ROI. There is a fabulous module in the curriculum on positioning. You should go through that module, and we need to position your business. If you cannot position your business and pick a specific market entry strategy, you will not be able to move forward.
Yeah, one of the targets we had, the way we worked the last 10 years, is by also licensing. So we licensed our technology to different markets where we had then strong players in packaging, for example. So we helped them to install a production line with our technology, and they pay license fee. So that was a good model for some markets.
That could become your long-term business model. I have worked on IP licensing kinds of business models as well. There's a company that I worked on called Tessera. It was a public company, and their whole business model was IP licensing. But whom do you license to? In what categories do you license to? And what is then the strategy to sell into that market is also, if you think that you are getting traction in packaging, then let's go through the packaging use case and understand, how to pick that packaging use case. There are templates. There's a customer template. So if you're speaking to a packaging company, what kinds of packaging company are we talking about where your product is valuable? Packaging is a very broad field. What kinds of packaging, what kind of products need your kind of packaging? So if you could pick, the best use cases where you actually have some experience now, ideally where you have existing experiences, existing licensing relationships, and let's talk through that next Wednesday. That would be the best starting point, I think. Okay?
Good. Thank you.
All right. Great. Who else? Who else wants to talk, discuss, ask questions, weigh in? Vijay, Sudipta, do you guys have questions?
Yes, Shamana. So we were talking about the pricing model. So like in few words, like what do you think, like we should we should maybe definitely we'll revisit that, but what is the
I think you should join the 1Mby1M program and start studying. I cannot give you a course in pricing in 3 minutes. That's just not what we do here.
Okay.
But all that is covered in the curriculum. Everything is covered. So just go do the curriculum and you'll learn what you need to learn.
Okay.
You need to do positioning. You need to do pricing. Pricing is included in the positioning module. So I think your first stop in the curriculum is the positioning module.
Okay. Sure.
There's a very comprehensive positioning module. I think it's one of the things that we do really well is positioning. So if you can just start there, then I'm pretty sure I can help you work through this.
Okay. Sure, Shaman.
Okay. Justin, do you have questions? You're good? All right. Okay, so I think we've covered, yeah?
I just wanted to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
All feedback is excellent, and you drew attention to a real weakness, so I appreciate that.
Again, I strongly encourage you to just use the 1Mby1M curriculum, and you will be able to address many of your issues just by following the methodology and the specifics of how.
So I noticed you have a $99 a month, and then you have a thousand. You have 1,000
annual.
Give you
access to the curriculum. Yeah, that will give you access to the curriculum.
So it's just 1,000 annual. Does the 1,000
1,000
annual
annual.
include the 99 per month?
1,000 annual, yes. The $99 per month is just the curriculum. 1,000 annual includes the curriculum, but it has other things, like it has access to me. You can come and talk to me at the roundtables. So in the free roundtables like these, you can talk once.
The
But in the
1,000
private
annual
roundtables,
does seem to be the better deal, doesn't it?
which one?
The 1,000 annual, because when I think of 99 times 12,
The 1,000 annual is a better deal. Why do you think 1,000 annual is a better deal?
well, because it
It's by
seems like
design,
it's
1,000 annual is a better
99 a
deal.
month, and if I do my arithmetic, it's favorable.
1,000 annual is a better deal by design.
Thank you very much. Very instructive day.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. All right, folks. It looks like we have covered everybody's questions, and I don't see any other public chat question or any other hand up to want to talk to me. So I'm going to wrap up the session today. We will, for those of you who come back next week, we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.